Huzzah! What's going on, everyone? All right, so the first part, we built our character. We had him good to go. This is a different character. I just want to emphasize. I wanted to go a little further in so that way I could show you guys some other stuff, because what you're going to do is you're going to move further in. You're going to get your first insight, and then you're going to be able to see the doll and see some of the other things that are going on. But what I want to do here is I want to show you guys how combat actually works versus an enemy, and my personal opinions on how to handle different enemies and such. And I'm going to show you how those visceral attack works that we talked about in part 2. Now, I'm also going to show you another key feature is this right here, which is the lantern. So as you can see here, it lets us go back to the Hunter's Dream. This is actually your fast travel system when it comes down to it, because once you go back to Hunter's Dream, you can use the Gravestones, and we'll discuss those more, because I did talk about how I want to do that. So we're gonna do that after. Let's get through some combat first, and then we'll go back to the Hunter's Dream, and I'll show you guys what you're going to be seeing once you get your first point in that where that eye is. So right now you can see we have like 38, right? That's why I wanted to jump a character ahead and stuff like that, because there's a little bit you got to do in order to get your first point and stuff. Either one or two ways. You can pick up one of them. You can pick up an item and grab it that way, or you see the first boss for the first time, and then you will gain a point in insight, and more than likely you might beat it or you might die by it, one of the two. But once you do that and you get your first point of insight, once you go to the Hunter's Dream, then the doll will be you can interact with the doll, you can do more stuff and go from there. And we're going to get into that, and we're going to also talk about what I want to definitely talk about as well. I want to talk about a couple different things here. Is the bells. That's actually going to be part 4. Part 4, we're going to talk about the bell. But in this one, we're going to talk about when... part 4 will be the bell, the runes, and items. And this is going to be combat. And then it's also going to be what happens when you go back to Hunter's Dream after you get your first point insight. So we're using a different weapon. This is a different character, like I said. So we're going to go ahead and just take them out very quickly, because I want to go to a key. This is a key place I usually use to also farm blood vials down the line. This is something that you're going to want to do later on. And this is a great place to show how the visceral attacks work. So again, we have our shotgun. In this case, we don't have our axe. This is the saw. And it's a little bit of a faster weapon, but not as damaging as the other one. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to show you guys how these visceral attacks work. So Mr. Big Guy here with Mr. Big Brick is going to try to hit us. So we're waiting to... Ow, ow, ow. We're going to try not to get punched. Ugh. Okay. By the way, triangle lets us heal. There we go. See that sound that come up? Now, unfortunately, we didn't get the visceral attack off. I'm going to try to pull him over here. Maybe we can get it over there. Or he's going to go back downstairs. That sound, though, that you just heard after we did the shot, that's what you're looking for. That means that you can do a visceral attack. There we go. And that right there is a visceral attack. It gets bloody, and you get bloody as well. But as you can see, it did a massive amount of damage, and that's exactly what you're looking for. Now you can see why I come here and I grind up some blood vials sometimes. There we go. You hit your R1. As soon as you hear that sound, you hit R1. Run into him. See, now you only have like a few seconds to do it. That one was not as good as I was hoping, but... So you get a good idea of how that works now. And then you can see where we got blood all over us now, because when you do a visceral attack, you're literally just shoving your hand into them and tearing out blood and everything like that. So it's another way to be a vampire, I guess. You just tear the blood out of an enemy. Okay, so we've got that down now. That is how a visceral attack works. I'm going to see if there's anything else we haven't talked about beforehand. Oh yeah, let's go through some of the other things. I think actually I did this in part 2, maybe. I think we're good. Yeah, so we should be good. If I didn't go over this, triangle heals. Down is for going through the different items, which you will have here. So when you have all these quick items down, you press the down button to go through them. You hit up for more bullets. Now you're going to sacrifice some blood to do that. So we do that. And On top of that, that will pull out your secondary weapon. This basically, so the right what is this? The D-pad. So when you hit the left D-pad, you change between your secondary weapons, your offhand. So again, in this situation, oops, didn't mean to hit that. I do that a lot. So you can see here we have two different weapons in here now. So that was the torch and that. And if you do the same thing on the right-hand side, so left-hand side, offhand weapons, right-hand side, switch between your main hand weapons. And now let's go ahead and go back to the Hunter's Dream. And let's see what's changed. You got your first insight. Time to go back. Time to level up. I'm going to show you guys how to level. I'm going to show you guys what the hunters, the hub world, the hub world, the sanctuary. Man, I got to get my wording straight. All right, so at this point now, when you come back and you get your first insight, you'll notice that she is no longer sitting against the block. She's standing here, or she might be standing over here, or she might be over here, etc., etc. Don't attack her. Will be my first thing right off the bat. Talk to her.
Hello, good. I am a doll, honorable, and you will twin.
We're going to just cut through some of this. All right, so this is how you would level up. You channel your blood echoes. You would click this. And now you can go ahead and choose between here. As you can see, we've already leveled up some. I mean, we're level 69 on this character. So, 69, dude. So, again, personal opinion. Vitality, endurance, strength. That's exactly what this kind of character is. It's a strength character. So we've got 32 already in strength, 31 in endurance, 31 in vitality. And we're just continuing down that line as we get more blood echoes. You can talk to her as well. Again, with NPCs, talk to them multiple times because they usually have good things to tell you, or they will tell you maybe where you need to go next, or give you some cryptic information that might come in handy. So stuff like that. Let's talk about what we're looking at here, though. So in this hub world, we have these gravestones. These gravestones are like your fast travel. So every time you find one of those lanterns and you use one, you then open up a way to get back to it. So you can go to and from. You can come back here to the Hunter's Dream. You can go back to wherever you want to go to. So we've got that. Inside here, we've got the old man just hanging out. You can talk to him about some things and whatnot. Over here is the workshop. This is where you can fortify your weapon, you repair your weapons, you put blood gems, and we'll talk about all those in part 4. That'll be the part 4. We'll finish up with the blood gems, the runes, and the bell. But here you can fortify your weapons. This is how you make your weapon better. So as long as you have the required stuff it's looking for, you can go ahead, which will also cost blood echoes. It'll tell you up at the top there. You can see it's required. So, and this will allow you to update. So you can see here that if we update it, it goes up to like this weapon here, the boom hammer. It goes up to 99. And that's pretty much how you would update a weapon. This also allows you then to put your gems in them and such, and go from there. Over here is where you do your runes. And again, we'll talk about those later. You can see also this is my Christopher Lee character I talked about in part 1 that I like. You know, this game reminds me a lot of Christopher Lee. Now we come out here and we have other gravestones on this side. Now this is for what is called the Chalice Dungeons. These are kind of like, think of almost roguelite style dungeons, I guess you would say. They are built in that you can go run through them. They always change unless they're completed. Or they'll change every time you start a new one per se. So you would come here and it will ask you to conduct a ritual. So you can see here that these different ones are all set and they have multiple layers to them and they usually end with a boss. And then you can usually sometimes get better weapons, you can get more items, you can get more blood, everything like that and stuff. They're very cool to do. If you're going for the platinum, you're going to want to go to the final one. I would definitely suggest looking up a guide on how to get there and stuff. And then you have to fight the final boss in order to get a trophy for that and such. So those are what these are for. Now there's multiple of these because you can, once you put a chalice ritual down, you kind of open up a doorway to that place. And it's kind of built with like a seed in mind. So you can give that seed to a friend and they will, or you can look up online if there's like a really good one you're looking for a weapon and they'll say, oh, use this seed. And you can actually like pop the code in and you can go to that exact Chalice Dungeon. Because like I said, everything is RNG, right? So it builds itself and then gives like a seed number or seed name and kind of goes from there. All right, what else do we got over here? So with the Blood Echoes, we can also go in here. This is kind of like our shop. So the Bath Messenger is our shop where we can sell and buy things. We can buy more blood vials. I highly, highly suggest. Don't forget, if you go over the amount that you're holding, they'll go into a chest, and then they'll get replenished every time you die, or you get sent off to another level or something like that. You've got different things like this. You've got your... These are stuff that's used for the blood chalices. Sorry, not blood chalices. The Chalice Dungeons. So you have these different items that will, you're going to need these in order to open up certain Chalice Dungeons and whatnot. Keys, different things that will be from doorways in the game to other stuff. We're not going to get really too deep into that. Your weapons and weapons that the messenger might sell. So you can see all the different types of weapons you might have picked up and then you've sold or whatnot. So you can always buy back. Different guns, different types of guns that you have found and whatnot. All the different types of sets of armor. Armor's set up in a certain amount of ways. You can't upgrade these at all. You can't upgrade them, but what you can do is they're used for certain like things. So you might find a creature that's really like heavy on fire. So you'll look for a set that's really good against fire, right? Or you find something that uses arcane a lot. You use something like that. Or you find something that's very physical. So you'll find something that's defended against physical pretty good. In here, this is blood gems. I don't have any on this character right now, so, and they don't sell any. And these are the runes. I don't have any on me right now. And the chalices themselves, when you pick them up, as you go through a chalice, I want to keep calling it blood chalice for some reason. As you go through a chalice dungeon, you get more chalices, which open up further ways to get even deeper into the chalice dungeons themselves, all the way down to the last boss. So again, those are optional, by the way, too. These are not have to be done for storyline wise or anything like that. They are very cool to do, and you do learn more lore and such when you use them. What else do we got? Okay, so now that you've got your first insight, or you've got some insight points, which is the eye on the right-hand side, you can go over to these guys, another shop, and you can purchase stuff with that. Other things from, so like this fire paper you can put on your weapon, so you can have fire on your weapon and stuff for a limited amount of time, electricity, stuff like that. And we're going to talk about the bells. Like I said, that's a big key feature. More stuff for Chalice Dungeons. So again, you're going to want to find these. And then maybe special weapons or armor they might have, and things of that nature. So that's really the hunter's dream. I advise to go explore, look around. Sometimes, depending on after you've defeated a boss or go through an area, they change up sometimes. Or somebody might, like a special character, like the guy in here is in the wheelchair, might be out in the back. So you might want to go talk to him. He might tell you some new information and things like that. Beyond that, there is another way that goes further down. You can explore that. There's going to be a gate that's going to be closed for the time being, but I'm not going to get into further into that. These are left by the developers, so you can read all these. They're more little tutorial things like we've talked about. And yeah, so that's part 3 of Bloodborne. Welcome to. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, we're going to finish it off with part 4, the last and final one. Unless there's anything else you guys want to know, but we're going to talk about the bell, which is how to summon another player and how to be summoned. We're going to talk about the runes, and we're going to talk about the gems that all deal with your weapons and making you better. So, thank you very much. I appreciate it, and I will talk to you guys later. Be safe, be just, and as always, huzzah!